Hello and welcome to Problematic Women, a show that showcases strong conservative women, current events, and the hypocrisy of women who fancy themselves feminists. I'm Kelsey Harkness, a reporter with the Daily Signal.
And I'm Bree Payton, staff writer at The Federalist. This week we're going to be talking about what the left got wrong about Hurricane Harvey. And then, as usual, every week we're going to play Real or Fake News, where I'm going to read some headlines, and Kelsey's going to guess whether or not she thinks that they are fake news or real news. And then we're going to crown our Problematic Woman of the Week. But first, let's talk about Hurricane Harvey.
Well, Hurricane Harvey, first off, I want to say that our hearts go out to anybody watching this broadcast down in Texas. It is absolutely devastating to see the images that are coming out from Houston and the surrounding areas, and we want you all to know that our thoughts and prayers are with you. But sadly, this week, of course, has turned political, and we've seen some commentators on the left and even news organizations come out with some pretty interesting content because Texas is a red state. Politico, for example, released a cartoon mocking Texans. We saw a Florida professor say that Hurricane Harvey victims deserved it. And then CNN was so desperate to criticize Trump in his response to Hurricane Harvey that they went after him for lacking empathy. Here's a short clip.
Good afternoon, Brooke. No question a different tone from the president today here in Missouri versus yesterday on the ground in Texas. There's been a lot made of the president's empathy. Did he show empathy yesterday? Did he talk directly to the victims? He didn't talk about the victims yesterday. He didn't talk about the personal searing nature of this catastrophe that we're seeing unfold. The White House acknowledged today that the president, he did not want to get in the way yesterday, so he did not see victims face to face. But they do acknowledge privately that he could have spoken more about the victims. That's exactly what he did here today, Brooke. He mentioned the word people multiple times, saying the country is thinking about the people of Texas, the people of Houston. So I think that this is something the president is going to be judged by actions of this government, not.
So, Bree, there's been a lot of devastating images to come out of Texas. But then we also, as I mentioned, have seen the country once again turn this natural disaster into something political. What are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, so, obviously the media's response has been really quite shocking. I think Slate had a piece along the lines of, this isn't real America, this isn't Texans at their best, this isn't Americans at their best. This is, Americans behaving in a way that they don't usually behave because of the storm. But, I'm really going to have to push back on that assertion. I think that Americans coming together and helping out fellow neighbors is what America is built on. This is what we are about. And in the face of tragedy, we are going to continue to be Americans and one America, right? It's not like, we're never nice, and now just because of the storm we're nice. But I think also that response really shows that a lot of people in the media are so insulated in this kind of bubble that they don't understand what it means to be American, right? And I think you were going to say something along those lines as well.
Well, yes, I think the media is so desperately trying to divide us instead of just sitting back for a week and showing that our country is actually united, both in Texas and beyond, in our support for that. But, I say that, but then we have to acknowledge some of the articles that are coming out. You mentioned Slate, which is what I wanted to bring up. They also had an article where someone wrote into Slate because his or her girlfriend didn't want to donate to help victims of Houston because Texas is a red state. I just was really in disbelief at that article. So instead, the solution was for that person to donate instead to some dog charity, which of course we love animals here, nothing against them.
Save the dogs.
There have been some incredible videos of people saving dogs. But I think it's sad. That shows how divided our country is. You can't even donate a few dollars without making it political.
Yeah, and also I think the the media's decision to attack Trump on his supposed lack of empathy. Meanwhile, they're, rubbing their hands and trying to pit one of us against one another. I think that that's really hypocritical as well.
I just don't think it's true that President Trump lacks empathy in this case. I think he is a businessman, and he went down there and wanted to get things done. He wanted to do what he could to help fix the situation and then get out of there, because he does not want to add chaos to an already chaotic situation. So I actually don't think Trump needed to be hugging and kissing babies as some reporters wanted him to do. But moving on, we actually have a really nice video from one of our own at the Daily Signal, Genevieve Wood, who is a Texas native. And this video highlights all that neighbors are doing to help one another.
Pictures of destroyed homes and flooded neighborhoods are heartbreaking, but the inspiring images of neighbors helping neighbors and average citizens performing heroic acts has shown Texas and America at its best. The eyes of the country have been on Texas as it deals with the devastating effects of Hurricane Harvey. Along with coverage of the storm, it's the efforts of citizen volunteers that are becoming a major focus of the story. As William Long, head of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, stressed in interviews before the storm even hit, when it comes to most disasters, government alone can't save the day. Citizens need to be ready to save neighbors in harm's way. And, quote, people need to be the help before the help arrives. And that is exactly what we've seen in Texas. There is no telling how many lives have been saved because countless individuals took it upon themselves to wade through streets searching for family, friends, and strangers trapped by rising floodwaters, using their personal boats, kayaks, and jet skis to reach people rescue workers could not, and opening up their homes to those who had nowhere to go. Remarkably, much of the major news media almost seemed shocked by all the Good Samaritan stories coming out of Houston and other communities in southeast Texas rocked by the storm. Perhaps that's because they've grown so accustomed to giving wall-to-wall coverage to fringe causes and groups that are more interested in dividing America than making it better. Frankly, it's increasingly hard to follow the news without starting to feel as though a protest or march or made-for-TV riot is around every corner. But as Texans have shown us, civil society, the little platoons that philosopher Edmund Burke referred to, while missing from most headlines and cable news, is still there. As a native of the Lone Star State, I'm not surprised by the good we've seen. Texas got its very name from the Native American word Tejas, which means friendship and ally. And it's that sentiment that has been on full display in the aftermath of Harvey. My guess is many of you aren't surprised either, because as heroic and inspiring as many acts we've seen on our television screens and social media feeds have been, this is what you would do if faced with the same circumstance. It's what most of the folks across the street from you would do. And it's what most of the people in the next town or city of your state would do. What we've witnessed in Texas is the best of America. People from different cultural and economic and racial backgrounds coming together to demonstrate that all lives matter and showing through actions, not protest, what it looks like to love thy neighbor.
I love that video so much. I mean, it really does show this is what America's about. It's about pitching in. It's about helping one another. And in the face of tragedy, Texans are stepping up to the plate. And now, on a lighter note, it is time to play Real or Fake News.
Kelsey, I've never been on this side of the table.
It's usually, Kelsey's usually the one asking me, and I have to guess. So now the tables are turned.
Their turn.
Let's see how well you do. Okay. Our first story. Elementary students in North Carolina are reenacting the illegal Confederate statue toppling.
I'm just going to say that's too soon, so I think that's fake.
It's actually 100% true. You can see all the details of the story over at The Blaze. There were 6th through 12th graders that were reenacting the illegal topplings of Confederate statues that happened in the weeks after the tragedy that happened in Charlottesville.
I wouldn't be surprised to read that headline in a year or 10 years from now, but, you know, that soon after, I mean, that just seems like inappropriate. And in a school, oh, come on.
I know. And with little kids, too. Yeah. Okay, article number 2. LA, the city of Los Angeles, has canceled Columbus Day and replaced it with Indigenous Peoples Day.
Oh, this is a hard one. But how do you cancel Columbus Day? I wouldn't put it past them, but I'm going to say fake.
It's actually real. Yeah, this has been actually widely reported because everyone is freaking out about it for good reason, because it's absurd. As you pointed out, I mean, you can't cancel a day. Like, Columbus Day is happening whether or not you want to
Yeah, how do you just,
it.
like, delete a holiday?
Yeah. Well, LA is trying. Okay, number 3. Joel Osteen sails luxury yacht through flooded Houston to pass out copies of Your Best Life Now.
That is fake.
You are right.
Okay, I got one.
It is fake, but it is a real article over at the Babylon Bee, which is a satirical news site.
And he did come under a lot of fire this week, but I think as the story unfolds, we're learning that he was doing what he could to open his church to flood victims.
Yeah. Details are still coming out about that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a huge fan personally. I have to say those those mega churches. I don't know. You got to keep a close watch on them, I think.
Yeah. All right. So article number 4: Berkeley professor gives students literal Hitler paddles to raise in class to object to things that they don't like, real or fake.
I mean, anything can happen at Berkeley.
Literal
and
if
this is fake, I just can't believe you guys came up with this. Oh my gosh. I'm going to say real.
Fake. And I actually made that one up. Yes, I'm proud of myself that I tricked
All right, you got me.
Yeah.
All right, well, it was fun being on that side of the table for the game, and thank you to all of you who tuned in. Maybe you did better than me because I didn't do very well. But perhaps the most important segment of the entire show, we now have to crown our problematic woman of the week, and there's just no question who wins it this week. It is Melania Trump, who dared to wear high heels as she boarded Air Force One on her way down to visit Houston. I think that there's 3 things we learned out of this situation in which the left and even the mainstream media really had a public freak out over her decision to wear high heels. We learned that 1, it's possible to change your shoes on a plane because Melania Trump boarded a plane in high heels and then she got off a plane in sneakers. We learned number 2, Melania owns more than 2 pairs of sneakers, and then 2 pairs of shoes. And then we learned number 3, that it is indeed possible to wear high heels. May I point out, I am wearing some right now. It is possible to wear high heels and be empathetic towards all the victims of Harvey. But what did you think of all this? It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, I thought it was totally insane. And I think it kind of exemplifies the media's attitude towards the Trump women. They always kind of have to seem to have a claws out mentality when it comes to the Trump women that I don't think that they had at all towards first ladies and other administrations. I think this is kind of an unprecedented level of scrutiny. I mean, if you're upset about the shoes that the first lady is wearing to board Air Force One, I mean, you know, I think that just really exemplifies it.
And nobody was upset when Michelle Obama dared to wear sneakers that cost over $500 when she was hanging out with some flood victims after Hurricane Sandy. And yet Melania Trump is criticized. I mean, she was in Washington, D.C., leaving the White House. I mean, she was dressed nice. She's on this nice plane where I'm sure she has plenty of room to change her shoes. And I thought it was actually ironic because some of the very same fashion magazines that criticized Melania Trump for being out of touch for daring to travel in these heels actually have fashion articles suggesting that women wear high heels through the airport and then change into more comfortable shoes on the plane. Well, that's exactly what Melania Trump did, but that's not to dismiss their more serious point that they concluded that because she decided to wear heels that she lacks empathy for all the victims. And,
right, they depicted her as cold and calculated and
I mean, if you read her statement, her heart went out for those people. And I think it kind of gets us back to our first segment about President Trump, people concluding that President Trump doesn't have any empathy towards the flood victims. And I mean, I don't know how you even draw those conclusions. I mean, you don't know what they're feeling in their hearts. And you really, I don't know, have to be a bitter person to think that you can go down and see the situation on the ground like that and not feel for these people.
Yeah, you're completely right. Yeah. I think my favorite part of this whole thing, though, was all of the headlines immediately after she landed and was wearing sneakers that were like, oh, Melania changed her shoes after receiving flack for this, right? Like they were taking credit for her wardrobe change on Air Force One, which I thought that was interesting
because she had to have planned unchanging because
but they
she
were
had
like,
a whole
we did
different
this,
outfit.
guys. Our outrage is fixing all of the problems with Trump's America. That's literally what they think.
Melania Trump being so problematic in her shoes.
Yes, yes. So next off, we're going to talk about J.J. Watt, who is the defensive end on Houston's Texans football team over there. He has raised more than $10 million for desperately needed supplies for Harvey victims. And you can donate to his cause over at youcaring.com.
So I feel like we need to address a big elephant in the room.
All right.
Bree and I aren't huge sports fans.
We are not.
It's probably hard for you to even, look up who this guy is. But we appreciate his work, and his campaign has gone viral, raising millions and millions of dollars. So, thank you. That's amazing. I was at a Nats game earlier in the week. Everybody is doing what they can, and I think that it is a great opportunity for celebrities to use their platform for something good. But football season is upon us, and it sounds like we're going to need to get a few guests in.
Yeah.
Because not all women are like us who don't follow sports.
Yeah, a lot do. Also, if you guys have any suggestions on who our problematic woman should be for next week, feel free to leave those suggestions in the comments below.
All right, well, we are filming this edition of Problematic Women a few days earlier, so instead of leaving you with a Sunday Fun Day video, we are going to leave you with a little Thursday Fun video. This is a little back-to-school video. Somebody who is just very excited to get her children out of her hair for a little bit back into school. I think you all will enjoy it. But thank you all for tuning in. Again, my name's Kelsey Harkness. You can follow me on Twitter at Kelsey J. Harkness.
And I'm Bree. You can follow me on Twitter at Bree_Payton and read all of my work at thefederalist.com.
Back to school time. I've been noticing lately, when people are doing their back to school shopping, everybody's complaining. Listen, it is the end of August. I will give you anything to take my kids. I'll get you a yellow binder, I'll get you a red binder. You take these kids out of my house, I'll get you whatever you want. Oh, you know what? You want a microwave? I'll get you a microwave. I'll get you a microwave. You put it on the list. I'm gonna put a microwave in here. There's a teacher somewhere that could use them. There's a lady somewhere willing to teach my daughter about some history, and she wants a yellow binder to do it. I'm gonna get that yellow binder. These teachers have been making plans to teach your kids, and you're all complaining about some pencils? Some pencils? Are you kidding me? Do you know how much I would pay them just to get my kids out of my face? You can put whatever you want on that list. All you people saying, I'm not gonna pick up any Kleenex for the class. You can't give that teacher a Kleenex. You want some super glue? I'll get you some super glue. I'll get you as much super glue as you want, because you're gonna teach my kids. And guess what that means? I don't have to teach my kids. All you parents going on, I'm spending so much money. Oh yeah, guess what? You don't think those teachers are spending money? They are gonna spend 9 hours a day. They're not even allowed to hit your kids. You hear what I'm saying? They're gonna be with your kids every day, teaching your kids. What is wrong with people? These teachers have to put up with your kids for an entire year. And all you guys gotta say, I don't wanna buy the pencils. Buy the pencils. I'll get you some pencils. I'll get you a pencil sharpener. I'll get you whatever you want, because this is ridiculous. When the teacher says, send in some pencils in August, and in November, it's like the kids ate them for snacks, you need to send some vodka in. Teacher, you want a mat that says hello on it? Want some luggage? You going somewhere? Spring break, teacher? You want to go somewhere? I'll get you some luggage. You want a pillow? I'll get you a pillow. You need a rug? I'll get you a rug, teachers. You know why? Because you deserve it. There's a teacher who can get a lot of presents this year. Kids that don't listen to anything I say. I'm telling you, we need to be thanking some teachers. The least you could do is buy a yellow binder. And you are all up in the internet complaining about your yellow binder? Are you kidding me? I want to kill my own kids. I don't know how these teachers do it. So this is my public service announcement. It is August. You need to send your thank you note now to your teacher. You need to send it now. To stop you complaining, go out and get your stupid supplies, and you need to hug a teacher. That's it. Go hug a teacher.